Hello, beautiful people. It is Persephone here. It's been a little while. I am back. I wasn't sure what I was going to do when all that Kappa stuff started hitting the fan. I wasn't sure if I was going to keep my channel, but here I am, bringing some more tarot stuff. I thought the perfect way to step back in for 2020 is the 31 days of Tarot 2020 that Bethany put out. So I'm gonna do days 1 through 5 together because I don't have a lot to say about some of those. Yeah, but of course we'll address mostly the big one, the one that I'm pretty sure everyone's here for, is what I'm here for. Top 5 tarot decks of 2019. So, all right, so first we start with number 1, tarot goodies that I got for the holidays. I really didn't get very much. Nobody in my family gets me tarot stuff. They all think it's like the work of Satan or whatever. So, let's see here. I got a few things. I got one thing for myself. I was visiting a friend a couple weeks before Christmas, and she had the Super Attractor Oracle, and I fell in love with this. So I got myself this. Merry Christmas to me. Got myself that. And then at work, I work a couple days a week at my brother-in-law's chiropractic office, and his office manager and I have become really good friends, and we decided to go in together to get Christmas cards for everybody in the office this year, because we both just started bringing in like oracle decks and tarot decks, and everybody's been really into drawing a card every day. So we went in together, we picked out a deck for everybody, and then for each other, like we each got to pick out our own deck basically. So this was the deck that I got, and this is funny because I'm really mostly a tarot person, but I'm loving these affirmation decks. I just was going through a time when I needed them, and these love yourself cards, I love them so much, and they have writing on the front and back. I'm not going to spend too much time on these because I really want to get to the big one. And then the last one, Julie from the office, even though we already got each other's stuff, she brought me this because everybody in the office knows that if it has swear words on it or sloths or it's about planners or tarot, I think that's, and Marvel movies, then I like it. So yeah, so it's super sweet. So those were my holiday goodies. I'm going to skip over number 2. I'm going to save that for last because, again, I'm pretty sure that's the one that, that's the big one. That's what we're going to spend all the time on. Number 3 is top 5 oracle decks of 2019. As I said, I'm not like a real big oracle person, so I didn't even pick 5. I got a few more than that, but I picked 4 that were my top ones. And it was the 2 that I just got were 2 of the 4. So 1, 2. And then the deck that kind of got me into oracle cards this year, working with them more, the Queen of the Moon. I was very surprised. Very surprised. I didn't think it was really my style. Yeah, and then I saw a detailed walkthrough, and something just clicked for me. And I realized it was a deck I could work with, and I have for myself. Let's see, get the glare off. They are shiny. It's rock pool. For myself and with some clients. So yeah, so that is one of my top 4. And then One more. Okay, so first of all, can we just admire this beautiful bag that I got to go with the deck? And the bag matches the deck. Came from the deck creator, Cat Riles. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Let me double check even. Cat Riles. And it is the Roots and Wings Oracle. Oh, so lovely. I kind of wish I had gotten the glossy one because they kind of stick together a lot, but other than that, this is beautiful, and I've had some good experiences reading with this one. Again, I am more of a tarot person, which is, I think, probably why I like this one so much, because it's kind of like, it borrows a lot from the tarot. Like, you know, here's the sun. And then there's things that are not in the tarot, but I think they are, because everything is. Yeah, so love, love, love that one. So those are my top 4, not 5, which kind of makes up for the fact that I'm going to have more than 5 tarot decks for 2019. Okay, so that was number 3. Number 4 is the most used decks of the last decade, and I'm just skipping this one because my memory is not that good. Yeah, I don't know. That one felt like it was going to take way too much work, and I don't remember, and I haven't always kept like a good journal or notes or whatever, so we're just going to skip that one. And then number 5, what has using tarot taught me in the last 10 years? So without overthinking it and trying to get into too much, there were 2 main things that I thought of when I thought about this question. What tarot has taught me? Number 1 is trust. To trust in myself, to trust in, you know, my own intuition and to listen to it, to trust in spirit and the connection that I have with spirit. So trust is a really big one. Trusting in just, yeah, the magical process. So, and then the second thing is, I wrote it down as the value of working through what's difficult for me. Reminding me that I don't have to be good at something right away to eventually be good at it. Because I have always been the type of person, ever since I was a kid in school, if it comes easy to me, then I throw myself into it. Great, this is wonderful. If it doesn't come easily to me, I'm done. But there was something about the tarot. I struggled for so long. I was so drawn to it, and I would have like glimmers of what it could be, but I was just so confused for such a long time, and I just thought, you know, am I just not, like, is this just not a gift that I have, and am I never going to be able to do this, and am I wasting my time? But I just felt so compelled to keep working with it, which is, again, not my typical MO. So, but I did. And then finally, when I had the breakthrough and it clicked, and I was reading tarot for myself, for other people, and it was real and it was working and I got it. Like, it was the most amazing thing ever. So, and I have some big goals for the year coming up and for the next couple of years, and so it was really good to reflect on this and to remember, if you want it badly enough and you're willing to put in the time and effort, and I'm saying this to me, you know, some things really are worth the effort. So So there's 1 through 5 minus 2, because we're going to spend some time on 2, the top 5 decks of 2019. And you know I got more than 5. But I'm not sure. I think we'll start with, I don't know if I want to start with my honorable mentions, or let's just start with the ones that I knew right away. When I saw this question, there were 2 that I knew were in my top decks of 2019. So, where are you? Oh my God, I left one in my bedroom, and so I don't know if I'm gonna pause this or if I'm gonna, whatever. We'll figure that out. Okay. The Light Seers Tarot. And yes, I have the mass market and I have the Indy, and I am so glad I have both. I'm getting ready to go to Florida for 2 weeks. My brother lives there, so all I'm gonna do is buy a plane ticket. I got a place to stay. Why would I stay in Ohio if I don't need to in the month of February? So, but I'm sending luggage down ahead of time with my brother, because he's a pilot and he can check bags for free, yada yada. So I'm gonna be like meeting him at an airport with a big suitcase, and I don't want to put my Indy Light Seers in there. So you know what's beautiful? I can put my mass market Light Seers in that suitcase, and I will still have my Indy deck at home with me. But this deck, oh my loves, this deck. So the book, I have talked about this book in other videos. It is phenomenal. This woman is so tuned in. There's so much juicy, juicy, juicy goodness in this book. A little tidbit for those of you who have the mass market and you don't have the Indy deck. Chris Ann does have a PDF journal of sorts, I forget what she calls it, that has the questions for the seer that are in the Indy book, but they are not in the mass market book, and those are phenomenal. But her artwork is just stunning. So just go through a little bit of this. I mean, I know there's like a lot of walkthroughs, and you know, if you're already, you know, into it, you know about this deck. But, you know, I mean, I might have some friends and people watching who don't watch a whole lot of YouTube tarot videos and don't know, so I'm going to go through some of these. I mean, her artwork is just amazing. Okay, so that is one of the 2 decks that is in my, that I knew immediately was going to be in my top 5 for the year. The other one I have to go get from my bedroom, so I'm going to try hitting pause and see what this does to our video. I think it worked. Okay, so the other of the 2 decks, oh my God. The Spacious Tarot. It's very new. Kickstarter deck that I've been waiting for so many months. This deck is pure magic. I am not even kidding you. And again, this, even though it has a small guidebook, it's good. It's a good guidebook. It is. Yeah, I mean, the creator is just tuned in. This is not, you know, a fluff candy tarot deck. Like, this is, ooh, this is just spiritually juicy. That's what I look for. I mean, I have some fluff candy decks too. I mean, come on. But this is the stuff that I really look for. I mean, the artwork, I knew when I saw the workings of the art for this. I mean, just the name itself is what I go for. The Spacious Tarot. Like, it's not like overly complicated, which is the funny thing about, you know, Chris Ann's deck, Light Seers. It is a bit more intricate, the artwork. It's busier. There's a lot going on. And I'm not saying busy in a bad way. There's just a lot more going on than what I normally go for, but it still speaks to me. This is so simple, and yet it just fucking nails it. Oh, good Lord, it just nails it. Oh, look at this 10 of Swords. I mean, yes. I mean, I'm just so in love with this deck. I could cry over it. Like, I'm not even joking. This Fool. So, so in love with the Spacious Tarot. So, those were the two that I definitely knew for sure. Now, there were two, the next two were kind of tied together for when I was thinking about, like, okay, what else? These two kind of like popped in my head together, and I knew that these were the next two. Okay. So the Naked Heart has been around for a while. I got the second edition of it in 2018 for my birthday. And this year, I got the third edition this past year, I got the third edition for my birthday. The cards haven't changed a lot, but some of the artwork has changed a little bit. But the thing that really, I'm having a hard time. Hold on here. Okay. Well, okay, let's just start with the simplicity of the artwork again. I love simple, clear artwork. I love animal decks. I love decks without people. This is why the Light Seers is such an anomaly for me. Love this. It's so simple and so powerful. I want to come across, let's see here. Okay. She changed the court cards. So she no longer puts the little symbol up here for, she had previously in gray the elemental correspondence with the court card position, as opposed to like this just has air for swords. And I like that she took out the symbol for her correspondence with the court cards, because not everyone uses the same correspondences for the court cards, and so it leaves it open for you to interpret them your own way, and you don't have to just kind of, you know, look past, you know, somebody else's, what someone else has decided about that. I really, it's so simple. I love this Three of Wands. I love that. The color is beautiful. I love the black and white with color. I love this Five of Pentacles. Love that. Okay, so here's another Innocence where we just keep getting Innocence. So this is the other big thing that she changed, is that the court cards aren't called like child or mother or father or anything like that. We've got innocence, movement, heart, and spirit. So here we go. There's movement. And I think, at least what makes sense to me, I'm pretty sure innocence is pages and movement is, movement would be knights. Let me see if there's more. How lovely is that? Okay. So simple. I think this might be a changed card, but I'm not sure. Okay, there's another innocence and another movement. Oh, a heart. Which makes so much sense to me, right? The essence of the court card. Innocence for pages, movement for knights, heart for queens, and spirit for, I mean, just brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Jillian, you're brilliant. Okay, so this, now, not only did I pick this because of the updates to the cards, but I picked this for the update to the book. And I love both the book for the 2nd edition and the 3rd edition. They're different, and I use them both. This one is smaller for the 3rd edition than the 2nd edition. And it has messages that are essentially affirmations. That's pretty much the entirety of the message. And it's like in quotes. So like, I'll just read the 2 of Cups because there's not a whole lot there for that. So the message is, when I am drawn to a connection that ebbs and flows with the desires of, when I am drawn to a connection that ebbs and flows with the desires of my heart, I confidently follow its lead and allow myself to be open to an alchemical cosmic connection, a positive force greater than myself. I feel the aliveness of this energy, and it resonates with the truth of my soul. This is the kind of stuff that I just eat up. As the momentum continues to build, I see magic and manifestation of the heart unfold right before my eyes. And this is the 2 of Cups. Heart familiar whispers, trust the messages of your heart. And then there's the heart disconnect, which is a question. Some people use it as the reversed meaning. You can see it as the shadow. Do inner wounds need tending to so emotional clarity can prevail? And it's got keywords: emotional bond, connection, union, right? The things that, those of us who read think of when we think of 2 of Cups. So, love that deck. Now this one, if you read my review on Amazon of this deck, this will probably surprise you because it was quite scathing. Not of the artwork, not of the book, not of the writing. I love all those things about this deck. It was of the cardstock. The award for worst cardstock of 2019 goes to the Antique Anatomy Tarot, which I waited for so long. I knew I was going to be in love with this deck. You see, it still made my top decks of 2019, despite the cardstock. The book is lovely, lovely, lovely. I like a big book. So nice. And it's amazing. Like, the paper in the book is so nice. It's got full color. I have really connected with the guidebook, the way she talks about the cards. And I know some people are like, oh, I've been reading long enough, I don't need a guidebook. It's not that I need a guidebook. Well, I don't know. I think that it's so useful to know what the creator intended with the cards, even if you just read it once and never look at it again. But also, I feel like every single one, depending on, like, these decks, you'll see what these all have in common pretty much is they all have great guidebooks. I feel like Spirit always leads me to pick the right deck for what I need that day or that week, or whatever the type of reading that I'm doing. And like, if I'm pulling a card a day, I will always look at what the guidebook says. And what I've been doing is I used to have this tendency, and I'm gonna show cards as I talk. I realize I'm just blabbering at you, I'm not showing you anything. So I used to have this tendency to just like pull out like a ton of tarot books and, you know, read what they all had to say about whatever card. And I'm not doing that this year. I am picking a deck for the week. And if it has a good guidebook, I am just reading the guidebook and just letting the messages that come to me intuitively, and from the artwork and from what I already know about the cards, letting those kind of percolate, but also listening to, you know, what the creator has said about the meaning of the card. And that's it. And just, it feels good. It's simpler. But these cards are so, I mean, I guess that's the other thing, that skulls, skeletons, this kind of aesthetic, it's so my thing. This like antique skulls and skeletons, oh my gosh, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And I really enjoy working with pips because it just leaves more room for working with the synthesis of the number and the element, as opposed to the Rider-Waite-Smith pictures and their correspondences that don't always work that way. So yeah, I've gotten some really powerful messages, exactly what I needed to hear when I needed to hear it, with this deck. So, Antique Anatomy Tarot, despite the shite for cardstock. Okay. And then I wasn't sure about number 5, so like I ended up throwing a number of decks in there. This next one, I put this on the list. It's hard because when you've gotten decks all year long, like something you got in January, you're not nearly as excited about come the following January when, you know, it's time to do this. And I just got the Spacious Tarot, and, you know, Lightseers hasn't been out that long, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, but this Tattoo Tarot, Ink and Intuition, I have really enjoyed this deck. And again, it's another pip deck. I want to work more with it this year. Really, really love the artwork of it. So beautiful. Quite lovely. It kind of does its own thing. It really does. Like some of the majors are more in the Rider-Waite-Smith vein, and some of the majors are more in the Marseille vein. I mean, you can, and definitely the minors are pips, but they do have things associated with them. They're a little bit more pictorial, but not entirely. But just look how gorgeous that is. Yeah, that's a weird night, but the queens in this deck are some of my favorite queens, so I'm hoping, oh good. Okay, here we go. So here's the Queen of Wands. I've actually thought about getting a tattoo on my blank arm of the 4 queens kind of all together, which I would just love. There's our High Priestess. And I don't know, like I have my fair share of decks that have like full-on nudity in them, but there's something I really appreciate about the fact that this deck doesn't go there. I like, yeah, I mean, I like it in some cases, but I really like that it's not here in this case. It's very tasteful. tastefully done. I like this. Like this sun. Beautiful. Let's see. Yeah, and you can see that these knaves, they're younger looking, right? Let's see. The kings have a much more mature look to them. They don't necessarily look old, but they do have a more mature look to them. Oh God, look at this Queen of Cups. Oh, love her, love her, love her, love her, love her. Let's see, what else? Yeah, it's interesting. Like, they're not super old. I like my kings to look a little bit older, but if you notice, the last two kings, like, they've had facial hair, you know, whereas the other guys are clean shaven. They had just kind of have that younger look. So at least there's that distinction. Here's another beautiful one. Yeah, and I had some really great readings with this deck early on. So funny, not even until I'm doing this for you did I realize all the kings have facial hair. Like, that's kind of what distinguishes them. Look at this youngster. So, and then, so the names are totally clean shaven. And then we've got this knight who's just got some stubble. Oh, this is cracking me up. I never realized this. So, okay, here's an example of, it's a pip, but it's got a little bit of a picture in it, right? So I really like that. I really, really, really like that. And same here with this Six of Cups. Just a little bit of something going on. Here's a king with his full beard and his waxy twirly mustache. Here's that clean shaven knave. So funny. Oh, and we've got a clean shaven knight. So that's our distinction. I love the roses and the swords. I love that moon. I spent a lot of time on this deck. Okay, I guess it's a good thing I put this in here. Here's another example of just like really tasteful. Like, she's nude, but you know, the way the ribbon wraps around her body, and I love the tattoos on her body. Beautiful. Beautiful. This is possibly my favorite Queen of Swords. Love her. Okay, so that's enough of that deck. I love it so much. Yeah, it's a mass market. It does not cost that much. So, okay. Oh, now may seem a little bit weird, but they're kind of like honorable mention decks. So I love the Dream Keepers, okay? And again, it's one of those decks that comes with a nice big guidebook. It's like a full page in this book for each card. It's quite amazing. I haven't worked with this a ton. This is a deck that I really want to be intentional about working with in 2020. The artwork is absolutely stunning. I've had fantastic readings with this deck for myself and with a couple of clients. Really, really just beautiful. So this is one, I wasn't sure if I was going to put it in there, but it's just so gorgeous. I really, really love it. You know, it's hard. Maybe if I had gotten it earlier in the year, it wouldn't have made the cut, because there are some gorgeous decks that I got earlier in the year that didn't make the cut. Because again, I'm all excited about what's new and shiny. But anyway, this, if I do a video, I might do a video of decks that I really want to work with more that either I haven't or I haven't worked with much. This will be in there. So really glad I got this deck this year. And then these two are going to seem funny probably compared to all the other decks I've gone through. But the Animal Wisdom Tarot is a deck that just surprised the heck out of me this year. No surprise. I've talked about it in another video or two. I love the guidebook. Love it, love it, love it. This deck may get a dedicated week this year. Not sure, but it's very cute and sweet. And again, like I get the tattoo tarot and the antique anatomy. Like those are what I think most people who know me would think I would be drawn to. You wouldn't think that something like this cute and adorable would be my type, but I love this deck. This is when I'm feeling, if I'm feeling particularly vulnerable, raw, fragile, you know, if I'm just going through dealing with painful stuff, or, you know, my shit's coming up that I need to deal with, this deck holds me close and is just so gentle and sweet. So yeah, I love this deck. My one gripe with it would be that it does closely associate, it's explicit about the associations that the different court cards have with the different elements, and it does a couple of them differently than how I do, so that would be my one gripe with it, but that's okay. It's okay. I can deal with it. So anyway, that is the Animal Wisdom by Diane Brunke, illustrated. I know I've said this before. Ola Leola, which I think is just one of the best names I've ever heard. Ola Leola. I don't even know if I say it right, but that's how I say it. Okay, the last one that's, again, super weird, like with all the other stuff that I've shown you. This is a deck, I've talked about this before. Again, chunky monkey for a little guidebook. It is Fairy Tarot Cards by Radley Valentine, illustrated by Howard David Johnson. Howard Johnson! My dad worked at the Howard Johnsons when I was little. Okay, Hojo, illustrated by Hojo. So, I don't know what's wrong with me, guys, sorry. Yeah, again, love a chunky little guidebook. I got this card thinking if my niece gets curious, or, you know, my friends' little girls get curious, I would have a tarot deck that they could play with. And here's the backs. Never thought it would be my thing. And one day I just was drawn to grab it off the shelf and draw my card for the day, and it was everything. And so now every once in a while this comes up. Like, I have even used this in client readings. Amazingly. Again, I just try to follow spirit for, you know, what deck to use. I don't know, guys. I can't explain it, right? It doesn't make sense when you look at all the other decks that I love and that I'm into, but I mean, what are you gonna do, right? I guess I have a very eclectic soul. So and then I think I will just say something about one more deck before I end this video. This would be my biggest surprise of 2019, okay? So this is a deck that I did not think I would ever get. I honestly didn't think I was ever going to get another Colette Baron Reed deck after the whole thing with her Goddess deck and the controversy around it, and yeah, I just wasn't, I was like, no, I'm done. And then my friend Julie at work, she had really been wanting the Good Tarot. And this was what she chose, you know, when we picked our decks for the office, when we were, you know, getting everyone decks. And we each got one for ourselves. And we went through hers. And I was like, shit, I have to have this deck. Damn it. So I did end up getting it for myself. I'm just surprised. Again, this is my biggest surprise of 2019. This and the Fairy Tarot. These are my two big surprises for 2019. I do appreciate the artwork. Jenna Della Grataglia, I think, is the artist. She does a lot of Colette Baron Reid stuff. You know, this is a more mature queen, which I appreciate. I couldn't tell in videos or anything like that I really wanted this deck. This is a deck I couldn't tell until I saw it up close and personal. I didn't know I wanted it. And I've worked with it a little bit. I haven't had it long, but it's great. It's a great little deck. Not at all something I thought I would want. But it also makes sense, you know, I said I've been into the affirmations, and I was just going through a period where that's what I needed. And that's pretty much everything. Oh my gosh, I love the King of Fire. I wonder if I can find that quickly to show you. I don't know, and somehow this one got all flipped around, and I don't usually shuffle like all mixed up, and yeah, and I don't read reversals, but somehow I messed it up. There are a few cards in here that I wish that they had been, I don't know, the images feel, I'm like, oh, that feels like that should be the Emperor, and that feels like that should be the Magician, but whatever. It ultimately, it's not really mattering. This is a deck I look at. This is more of like, I really don't think this is a deck that I would use for a client reading. This is a little bit more of when I need a hug, and I'm just like, when I'm in that place of I am sad and alone, and I mean, not like in life, I'm not alone. I have a good life, you know, but you know, we all go through those periods of like, or maybe we don't, maybe it's just me, I don't know, but you know, just like just hurting inside, and just, you know, needing a hug, and nobody's right here to give me a hug, and spirit comes through. So this is the King of Fire. Love this guy. Yeah, love the maturity in kings and queens. That's so important to me. Okay, and like, there's not a ton for each card. She really sticks with basically an affirmation for each card. It does have a couple of keywords or phrases like the King of Fire, spiritual influencer, creative, inspired leader. And then it says, when I am aligned with spirit, I am a powerful leader who inspires others. My mastery benefits others as I teach them, directly at times and indirectly at others, modeling what they might aspire to. How can I be confident in my own abilities and vision without becoming rigid or closed off to new ideas? So it's just really simple, really, really simple, and gives you something to think about. So anyway, biggest surprise of 2019. That is everything and even more. I do have a few other videos I'm thinking of. You can let me know below what you're particularly interested in seeing. I thought about pulling out the decks that I specifically want to be more intentional about working with in 2020. That's a video I thought about doing. Let's see, I wrote them down here. Okay. Oh, yeah. I'm also doing a low buy, low spend year. So I thought about doing a video on that and what that looks like. So some of these things are not necessarily tarot related, but there's stuff that I watch YouTube videos about. So my 2020 planner lineup, I thought about doing a video on that because I've got like 8 or something. They're all being used. So I thought maybe doing that. I thought about doing one specifically on my tarot planner / journal that I am in love with. I kind of took 2 different planners that are disc bound and put them together, and I love it so much. I think that's it. So those are some of the ideas I had for videos coming up. So in addition to the hashtag 31 Days of Tarot 2020. So I look forward to diving in and seeing all of your videos, because I haven't really had a chance to do that yet. So I've just seen a couple, so for the hashtag. But yeah, so that's it for now. You know, Happy New Year, happy 2020. Hope everyone's off to a good start. And I will hopefully be back soon.